Welcome back. Now it's time for our weekly energy update with Dan McTeague, President of Canadians for Affordable Energy.
Thank you, Nima. And what a week. A strange week, but nothing that we haven't seen in the past from this absolutely wonky energy market. It seems anything can cause it to be disrupted and to ignore fundamentals. And that's good news for consumers, especially drivers as we head into this long weekend. Pretty much across the country, except regulated markets, although they're showing some signs of it, but pretty much across the normal part of the economic spectrum, North America, where we don't have regulated, prices forced by bureaucrats, you have prices that have dropped dramatically. Now let's start with Vancouver, where prices dropped 40 cents a litre, going from 2.15 all the way down to 1.75, and probably going to go down another couple pennies before markets really wake up. We can talk about Alberta, which should be at about $1.29, $1.28, but is at $1.40, mostly because gas retailers there are hanging on to 20-cent a litre retail margins. They should be ashamed of themselves because that's really ripping the public off. And considering the wholesale price is 87 cents plus 14 cents for HST for the carbon tax and 10 cents for excise tax, that comes to 1.16, 1.17 a litre, not $1.40. So you can see how things there look pretty iffy, especially if you're a gas retailer and you're holding on to these margins. I suspect the provincial government there will want to act very soon to curb their enthusiasm on ripping consumers off. Saskatchewan, we could and should see a drop because prices there as well are certainly in line to come down. And should be somewhere a lot closer to $1.45, not $1.55, as we're seeing. Ditto for Winnipeg and Manitoba. Ontario, we've seen a pretty big decrease rather, going, just 2 weeks ago, 1.76, now down towards the $1.47, $1.48 range. And for Quebec, we've seen prices drop there by a similar amount just in the past week. And the maritime provinces, which I alluded to a little earlier, have seen some decreases in the case of PEI and Nova Scotia, but not so much in New Brunswick, and certainly not so much in terms of Newfoundland. Either way, we are looking at oil prices dropping $10 a barrel for no other reason than the fact that markets are panicky, and yet fundamentals continue to show gas prices should be reflecting a little higher considering demand. But that's where we come into a bit of a problem, Nima. This week, I think the United States Department of Energy made a very serious error in its calculations on demand, said demand dropped off suddenly and mysteriously by a third. And that's one of the main reasons why we're seeing this sort of panic drop in prices for everything. Based on that, I suspect that we're going to continue to see a little bit of wonkiness over the week. Nothing until probably Wednesday or Thursday in terms of any price changes, but I would expect that the correction will happen in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, enjoy these prices. It's almost like a Christmas come early, a true reason for Thanksgiving. If you happen to be in places like Vancouver, wow. 40 cents a litre. If you're filling up 60, 70, you've saved 25, 30 bucks for a fill up, and that's pretty significant. There's not much more to add to this except for the fact that the Canadian dollar continues to show weakness, and the signs of that weakness is now becoming evident. 137, 138 pennies to buy a US dollar when oil is still trading over $80 a barrel is something we have not seen in modern times. And for that reason, it does suggest that someone is going to have to pay a little bit more closer attention to the relationship, the weakness of the Canadian dollar, its effect on inflation, and driving down, of course, our purchase power, because everything that we buy in this country, doesn't matter if it's consumed here or made here, it is priced in US dollars. So anyone who thinks not having the protection of a petrodollar is a good thing may want to check its effect on our purchase power, on inflation, and the Bank of Canada's zeal in raising interest rates because they interpret that as being inflationary. Having said that as well, Nima, by the time we get back and we look at the statistics year over year, so September to September 22 comparison to September 2023, we're going to find inflation actually rose because of gasoline and diesel prices. Not October, but September. I expect that inflation will again accelerate to the upside, predicted right here first, probably about 4.5 to 4.7%, much higher than what we saw last month. So inflation is going to continue to rear its ugly head, not just in terms of energy, but as we know, its effect on food prices and its knock-on effect throughout the economy. Let me take the opportunity to wish everybody, all your viewers here, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks, Nima.
All right, thanks for that, Dan. Lots to keep our eyes on ahead of the long weekend. And again, that was Dan McTeague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, with Forum Daily's weekly energy update.